We are used to thinking that the concept of a stealth ship and armored floating fortresses was born in the 20th century. But hundreds of years before the appearance of the first steel armor, a monster appeared in the waters of Korea that single-handedly destroyed entire fleets without receiving a single scratch. The Turtle Ship. Today, we will look at 7 vessels that were so technologically absurd for their time that their existence was long considered a myth. Syracusia, the ancient Titanic that didn't sink. Imagine a ship over 100 meters long in the 3rd century BC. On its board was a temple of Aphrodite, a library, stables, and even a heated pool. To make this mountain float, Archimedes solved 2 of the most difficult challenges. First, he invented a screw for pumping bilge water, allowing a single person to quickly dry the hold. Then, he sheathed the hull with lead plates to protect against rot. But this palace was also a formidable fortress. Archimedes installed 8 battle towers on the deck and a catapult that threw 80-kilogram stones. Building it took as much wood as would have sufficed for 60 warships. Because of its gigantic size, only the Alexandrian port in Egypt could accept it. This project proved that Archimedes' genius was centuries ahead of its time. Nemi ships. The space-age technology of Roman emperors. In 1929, by order of Mussolini, the Italian Lake Nemi was drained, and 2 gigantic ships of Caligula were found. Their design shocked archaeologists. The ships had plumbing with hot water, the floors were decorated with mosaics, and the roofs were covered with copper tiles. But the most incredible thing was the platforms that rotated on bronze ball bearings. Leonardo da Vinci would only sketch this technology 1,500 years later. The purpose of these 70-meter masterpieces was ritualistic. They served as floating temples. Another sensation was the 2-armed anchor with a lead stock, a design attributed to the British of the 18th century. The Romans were 17 centuries ahead of their time. Unfortunately, in 1944, during the retreat of German troops, the unique ships burned down. Geobukseon, the first ironclad in history. In the 16th century, Korean Admiral Yi Sun-sin faced a superior Japanese fleet. His secret weapon was the Geobukseon, or the turtle ship. The upper deck was covered with a dome of plates studded with sharp iron spikes. Enemies tried to board the ship and literally impaled themselves on these spikes. On the bow was a dragon's head that spewed acrid sulfur smoke for cover. The Geobukseon carried 80 rowers and could turn instantly without the help of the wind. Cannons were located along the entire perimeter, firing even from the tail and the dragon's mouth. In the Battle of Hansando, several of these turtles sliced through the Japanese armada and destroyed its flagships. This ancestor of destroyers proved that armor and firepower can break any enemy. Byzantine Dromon and the fire siphon. Terror of the Middle Ages. Maneuverable Byzantine galleys, Dromons, defeated enemies without ramming strikes. On their bow stood bronze siphons that worked like piston pumps. They spewed Greek fire under pressure, which ignited in the air and burned even on water. Attempts to extinguish it with water only intensified the flames. Siphons burned down entire wooden fleets on the approaches to Constantinople. Using the mixture was deadly dangerous. The fuel was heated in cauldrons right on board. The slightest mistake by the gunners could blow up the Dromon itself. The shot was accompanied by a terrifying roar, causing panic among the enemies. Sailors preferred to drown in heavy armor rather than burn alive. This weapon saved Byzantium for 5 centuries, and its formula is lost forever. Roman oxen-powered Liburnians. The world's first paddle wheels. In the 4th century, the anonymous Roman treatise De Rebus Bellicis described a superweapon that anticipated the invention of steamboats by 1,500 years. This was a battle Liburnian driven by oxen instead of rowers. The animals walked in circles on the deck, rotating vertical mechanisms. Through a system of gears, torque was transmitted to massive wheels with blades on the sides. In total calm, when the enemy's sails hung lifelessly, this ship developed great speed. The enemy could not maneuver or escape the strike. The Liburnian rammed lightships at full speed, crushing them with its strong bronze bow. The project required a lot of feed and water for the animals, so the ships operated close to the shores. Although skeptics considered this scheme fantastic, modern simulations proved that the ancient Roman paddle wheel ship was fully operational. Song Dynasty paddle wheel ships. Wooden steamboats of ancient China. In the 12th century, Chinese engineers made a revolution by creating a fleet of paddle wheel warships. Instead of oars, they used paddle wheels installed on the sides and stern of the hull. They were driven by sailors running on special wooden treadmills inside the hold. The largest ships had up to 24 wheels and developed speeds unattainable for conventional sailing ships. They did not depend on the wind and could sharply change direction. In battles on the Yangtze River, these ships operated like modern motorboats. They literally broke through the ranks of pirate junks, crushing their sides with the blades. On the decks stood huge trebuchets, showering the enemies with gunpowder bombs. Chinese paddle wheel giants dominated the rivers for centuries, proving the superiority of the mechanical drive over the conventional oar. Hatshepsut's Obelisk barge. Ancient super heavyweight. About 3,500 years ago, Egyptian Queen Hatshepsut ordered 2 granite obelisks to be delivered from Aswan to Luxor. The weight of each monolith was about 350 tons. To transport them along the Nile, ancient engineers built an unprecedented vessel. This was a colossal barge over 60 meters long and about 25 meters wide. The main problem was distributing the immense load so that the fragile wooden hull would not break in half. Engineers bound the sides with ropes as thick as a human leg and strengthened the bottom with powerful beams. The giant barge could not be moved by oars, so it was towed by 30 boats. More than 850 rowers working in a perfect rhythm participated in this operation. The vessel successfully delivered thousands of tons of granite, proving that the ancient Egyptians knew how to solve complex structural engineering problems without modern calculations. Ancient engineers did not know advanced mathematics or computer modeling, but they created automatic pumps, steel ironclads, paddle wheel steamboats, and super barges long before the Industrial Revolution. Their secret lay in the courage of thought and willingness to challenge nature. Today, we cannot travel a kilometer without the help of a navigator in a smartphone. But our ancestors built wooden leviathans, knowing that the price of any mistake was death in the abyss. Perhaps the greatness of a civilization is measured not by the number of gadgets, but by the willingness to create great things with our own hands.